I'm so proud of you guys, to be honest. Like, oh God.
I don't know what people are proud of, but yeah.
No, for real. Like, I'm so proud. How many years are you guys married now? 7 or so?
No, we're more than 7. We're 8 already.
We're 8 going on 9.
We're going on 9 this year. We're going on 9 in October.
Oh, you!
I don't know how it happened.
I survived it.
Well, he's surviving. I don't know how it happened, but yeah, we're here.
What has made it last for so long?
Last for so long. Honestly, like I told you, I can't think about anything, but I think for me, it's more about the fundamentals. Right? I think we agreed on a lot of things before we got married. You know, like I always tell people that, you know, we had conversations before we got married that we first go like 2 days apart. Like everybody can just kind of think about it. Because you got also it makes sense. As we call it makes sense. Should we continue from where we stop and stuff like that? So getting into marriage, I think those fundamentals, we are lucky that those fundamentals are still there. So we had very, very, very difficult conversation at the beginning. So yeah, I think for me, that's just it. So it's not like we are trying every day to kind of perseverance or this or that. We're just living our lives. But because the fundamentals are there, when you have those kind of things that can bring like frictions, the fundamentals just come like, they just play out. Okay, this is how we said we're going to take care of you. This is how we said we're going to take care of the children. This is how we said we're going to take care of our families. So why are you fussing about it now? Two responsible people wanting to be together.
Yeah, I think that last line is it for me. It's I describe marriage as a good marriage as two people who have refused to give up on each other. So through thick and thin, through when they annoy you and you just want to fling them outside of the window, you just remind yourself that, okay, we die here, we're not going anywhere. So no matter how upset it is you are, no matter how you feel, take some time off if you need to, deal with your emotions. But I'm here. Let's pick up from where we left off, but we're not going anywhere. So we either talk about it or, you know, fix it, or we fix it. There's no alternative. So yeah.
I'm so proud of you because what I know prior was that you were always the if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. He was more of we die here, and you've now grown to be the like. And I say this, like, I'm like, women are reciprocators. Like, whatever a man gives a woman is what she works with. To know that he's always been the person who is always like, I don't know what's going to happen, we're going to make this work. And you've never had any shroud of doubt in almost 9 years. And you're now the person who is also here saying, we're making it work either way. It's not because anything went wrong, but because you've put in so much safety and trust in her that she now believes so strongly that, I'm here till we die here. I'm so proud of you for that.
I try. And I'll say I had good counsel as well, I think, along the way. I've had people who have poured into me, even in ways that they don't realize that they have. That mentality came more from upbringing, from the kind of marriages I saw around me. I'm not sure we had lots of good examples of good marriages growing up. So that's why I had that mentality of, say, I'm not going to die in any marriage. If it's not working, please, where are my bags? It was good while it lasted, and let's take a walk. But I think over time, he especially has helped me to see that we're who we are. Our marriage is not anybody else's marriage. Our marriage is what we make of it. We can decide how we want it to be. If we want it to be like our parents, then let's go ahead and act like our parents. But if we want it to be in our own way, we're holding ourselves to our own standards, not necessarily anybody's standards, but what we define. And like you said, we had lots of conversations before we got married, from money to how we want to raise our children to how we want our home to be. So the kind of life we want to live, right? Are we doing everything 100%? Maybe not, but the fundamentals are there and we're very clear on it. So that, you know, him pushing for that level of conversation from time to time, me being surrounded by good counsel, I finally met people who had good marriages, who were making it work, and they were also defining it themselves, not necessarily holding themselves to the standard of anybody. Bring that together, and you know, over time, I also got older, wiser, more mature.
Actually got wiser. Let's talk.
I got older, wiser, and you know, I decided to lock in and, you know, go all in.
Yeah, you got older, wiser. You know, that is a very, very important. Okay, so the thing is, so the thing is, I think if you dial it back, I met her when she was about 25, 24.
Yeah, 24-ish. Yeah,
Yeah.
24.
I was in my late 30s when I met her.
Late 30s. That you were. You're
Early
early 30s.
right?
Come on.
Nisuru. This is your talk. You are talking.
You've done your own.
I was in my early 30s, and I think one of the greatest fear that I had was because those days I call her, we're going for this party, we are going for this club, we are going for this bar, and wow. Right, and so by the time we even started this conversation, she wasn't really into the fact that she wanted to get married. But I think the second time I told her, what they say about when a man knows, right? I was quite sure that I wanted to marry her.
Oh, he's a scam, by the way. The first day we spoke, he told me, he's like, I don't want to be your friend, I want to marry you. And I laughed.
Right. Yeah.
I laughed. I'm like, guy, does not work on anybody. It's like,
Well,
I'm
I want
serious.
you.
I want to marry you.
So
And
because
then-
I've kind of had conversations, and this was somebody that we've not seen each other. We just got on the phone call, and we had an extended conversation. I like having intellectual
She says
conversation.
it all the time. Like the thing about you, both of you, that's so amazing for her is the conversations.
Yeah, the conversations are really good when she wants to talk. Right, when she wants to talk, she's conversing. And when she's not trying to find fault in everything. Okay, you know what? Don't worry. Let's leave this conversation. Let's leave this conversation. Don't worry.
Sorry.
Okay.
One no.
You just kind of. But bottom line was, I think moving from there, right? I feel that she's not seen a lot at that point. So it was either, hey, I remember one of those conversations. I think it was during one Ileya or one or do like that. Then she came to my side and I was like, you're coming from your house. You don't bring food for me. Jesus Christ. Hey, I will never forget that.
You want me to bring cooked food from my father's house?
This
Show
is-
you. Why?
This is me that everybody that I've always dated either comes home to cook, bring food. I don't cook. Then I have this girlfriend and you're coming from your dad's house. You guys cooked in your house. So it's not
was
like
a party.
It was a party. And you are coming, you did not bring anything. I was like, where is the food? Omo. She cleared me, oh.
She cleared me.
And my friend will come back. Then another one was, she always lied to me that she doesn't know how to cook. I tell people I like 3 things. I like good food, I like good sleep, and I like other things.
Adult conversation. What is the other thing? Let's be guided. What's the third thing?
I like 3 things: good food, good sleep, and I like good sex.
Awesome.
And this was me dating a woman who said, one, she doesn't know how to cook. She'll come to my house, we buy Indomie and we eat Indomie.
Yeah, what Indomie?
And my friend, it's like, I don't know you again. How are you coping? You want to write Indomie for Dano? Yeah, but over time, I think she started getting, mature about the conversation. Like I said in the beginning, I remember the first time we had the conversation around money. We first went for like 2 days. Like, okay, is this what you want to do? And then because of our lifestyle growing up, seeing her then, one day I just called myself, I'm my stress cell. So I told her, I said, no, let's have this conversation. You know what? I'm never going to stop you, right, about anything. But let's talk about rent, let's talk about school fees, let's talk about this. Here's the deal. I will give you whatever is available that I can try. See, if you now want to build on it, like this is what our house rent is. Our house rent is 500k. If you want us to go and live in Ikoyi, you decide to put 4 million, I will not fight you. But please, by God's mercy, don't stress me. I know you have, clarity in your head. You have, social status and, the kind of school that you want children to attend and stuff like that. I will not stop it. But at everybody, and that's one very good thing about we're very transparent about earnings from the word go. So everybody kind of knows what everybody earns, and we kind of very accountable to each other about spend. So it's not like, oh, I have money that I don't want to spend. You know what I earn. You know how it's going. So you know that I cannot afford this kind of dream you have. She's a very good dreamer. So this kind of dream you have in your head, right? I can't afford it. So, but if you can afford it to make you feel good, once I drop whatever I drop, please build on it, and I will not fight you. You can be sure I will live in that house with you very peacefully, knowing fully well you are paying 90% of the rent. So yeah, she became, so having this kind of conversation over time, sometimes it doesn't sit well with her, sometimes they sit well with her, but yeah, she became wiser, and she's now a sage.
So my question is to you, knowing that you had all these dreams, or at least then, I mean, this is almost 9 years later, the dreams that you had, how you wanted things to be, and knowing he says like, oh, this is what I have, don't stress me. You're a dreamer, you're a doer, let's go 10 times more. I've always known you to be that person. How were you able to manage, or how are you able to first convince yourself that this person is worth taking the risk with, first of all, and then how are you able to navigate it, then come into agreements to it? You know what, they're worth it, I will do my path.
How was I able to convince myself? Do I even remember? I think at the time, again, I had good counsel. I keep telling him, I had a colleague at the time. His name is Uche. I keep telling him that if I didn't have Uche in my life at that time, I'm not sure I would have gotten married. I met him at a time when Uche was trying to help me work on my psyche and mentality around marriage, around understanding that it's always a give and take relationship, around understanding that it's two people working together, not one person carrying the load and the other person feeling like, oh, you're the man, so you have to take, full financial responsibility. He taught me the place of savings. He taught me the place of, supporting each other's dreams. He also taught me about times and season, right? The fact that, somebody earns more today, even if it's the man that earns more today, people always, life happens, and then, the tables can turn, and then you have to be responsible, and then it always goes like that in every marriage. So it's not a rigid or a fixed situation. So having somebody like that in my life made it even easier for me to have these conversations and go back and reflect and be like, does this make sense? Is this something I can live with? At that time too, he had also given me an assignment to draw up the kind of life I wanted for myself, beyond the material things, in terms of peace, in terms of calm, in terms of the atmosphere I wanted for my home. And then picture, because he knew when I started dating him. Interestingly, they never met. Surprisingly, they never met. And then the question was, then this person you're about to start dating, do you see him in this picture? Do you see him being able to give you this level of peace? Do you see yourself being able to have this level of warmth around him? Do you see him being a role model father to your children, right? So having done that exercise, right, it was a bit easier for me to now, put him into that space and be like, okay, this picture I've drawn up, does Sesan fit in here? He does. Although his initial stance gave me a feeling like it came to me as a lack of ambition. Like, how can you just be, okay, fine, I don't have none here. You are not even going to make an effort to even, bring a little more or something. And you are just comfortable with it. Why should you be comfortable with, me constantly taking care of myself? And I now told myself, I said, Auntie, independent woman. You said you don't need a man, you don't want to rely on a man's money. Now the man is telling you, okay, well, I can give you small of the money, but you put the rest and you have a problem with it. So again, it took a lot of introspection, internal reflection, thinking into the future. But I think having Uche in my life helped me focus on what was most important. So setting my eyes on those important things helped me, put things into perspective. And to be fair, he's kept his word, right? Because there's the saying and there's the doing. If I remember our wedding interview, I think we had Channel TV at our wedding, and then the reporter asked me how I knew it was the one, or what are some of the things that endeared me to him. And I'm like, he doesn't stop me from doing anything. He tells me, fly as high as you want to. I will never stop you. Do not, on account of me, not do anything you want to do. And that for me is giving me freedom to succeed. But because he's such a supportive partner, I then tell myself there's no joy in succeeding alone. I want this man to hold my hands and journey with me to success, because that's what.
She's in a zone. Don't.
Sorry, just touch me. I love you, Mom.
Fuck off. So that then, you know, helped me with. So it wasn't just words. They were not just mere words. It was words backed up by action, time and time and time again. On my 30th birthday, he got me a plaque. Even though he hates that plaque is sitting somewhere in his study. It had an eagle on it. It's like a glass. It's like a glass prism sort of thing, and it has like an eagle. It's transparent, but you can see the eagle flying inside of it, and it's like, just fly, just keep flying, keep soaring. And I mean, technically, he's the wind beneath my wings. And when I don't want to fly as well, he doesn't push me. You don't want to fly? Okay, sit down and rest. Are you ready to go again? By all means, by all means. As long as you don't give me high blood pressure in the process of flying. And I think over time, I think we've infected each other. I've gotten a bit of his calm. He's gotten a bit of my drive. Because initially I'm like, you know, how do I say? You know when somebody is like, I'm a kind of person who, okay, I wanted to achieve this. I've achieved this. What's the next pedestal? I said let's assume I said I want to live in this neighborhood. By the time I'm leaving there, I've not even sat down to even enjoy living in that neighborhood. I'm already thinking that, Father Lord, the people in Ikoyi, they don't have 32 heads. Oh yeah, how do we get there? And I start to think of, okay, so how do we get there? What needs to happen to my earnings? My husband. Father, we thank you for these 2-bedroom flats that we have. Please don't ever take it away from us. We will never be ingrates. This is so comfortable. We are happy staying here. And I'm like, guy, duplex is somewhere. Mansion is, why can we not be the ones to live in that mansion? But again, over time, I mean, I've gotten a bit of his calm. I've learned to be more grateful and enjoy, you know, and savor the present. And then he's also gotten a bit of drive for, this life.
Chop him. We will chop life.
So yeah, I think that's what it was.
It's so beautiful. I love it so much because I know how much even you have grown. And just to be clear, we're talking to the head of marketing.
Please, don't be making his head to be swelling anyhow now.
Please.
Is Olusesan on here? Daddy ni.
But you put me Sesan. It's not like this thing is coming there. I didn't want to interrupt you. But it's fine, not a problem.
Just in case. Hello, what are you doing in life?
Housewife. With all my dreams. I'm a housewife at the moment.
And you're happy.
Oh yes, I am.
You're at peace. I'm so proud of you. What changed for you?
In regarding
the whole pushing forward than you would normally do.
So it's I've always told people that, you know, I remember there was a day one of my former bosses, you know, we were going out, and I told her that one thing I figured out since we started dating is that 8 out of 10 times my wife is right, I'm wrong.
Please, right? Say that again.
8 out of 10 times my wife is right, I am wrong. And I say with my full chest.
Listen to your wife.
So you see when we spoke the other time, like because she's a crystal ball. She's a crystal ball, right? So I think, you know, sometimes it just takes you as a man knowing, you know, that you are not complete, and also, you know, kind of being humble enough to accept that, see, what this person is saying is not exactly wrong. So I'll give you an example. I remember in those days, we have conversation. Like I said, we have very good conversations. And you would know, I will make statements and she will challenge me. Someone you will need respect. And at that point, those things are quite annoying. right? So two things. The first one is when I go back and I reflect on this, I tell myself, do you want to bring up a child like me, or do you want to bring a child like R? So first, I figure that
that child is choking me now. That child is choking me.
So if I look back into my life, I don't want to bring up a child like me.
The way you were raised.
The way I was raised, right? I was raised, not questioning things, right? I remember my dad in those days would say that when an adult is speaking to you, you look at the ground, you don't look straight to the adult. And this was me going to marry somebody who was going to look straight into my eyes and ask me very difficult questions. So they are not very comfortable questions. So the second part of it is also, was she wrong? Right? There is a saying in my language that one it about so was right? So it means that when you need to reflect and tell yourself the truth. You can argue it outside, you can defend yourself, but when you come back home, you need to think about it. You self-reflect, and so those times I kind of self-reflect, like, you know what, you want to tell yourself the truth. This guy is not the problem. You probably just have some level of problems, that you're not dealing with. Then, over time, I started understanding that there is a difference between contentment and being lazy, and not just wanting more. There's a lot of difference. So you are lying to yourself that you are contented because you are actually afraid to take on new challenges. So it looks like, it's okay, yeah, So I figured out that was what she had that I didn't have. I'm afraid. She's not. So it's not really contentment. It's actually because I'm afraid. And, I started fighting that fear. Like, okay, so I was asking someone the other day that, what's missing in your life that your wife is coming to feel? And it wasn't something that I thought about before we got married. It was something that I figured out as we went on in marriage. Because now the fear was away that, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? I will fly, I will fall, but I have somebody who will pick me up. Unlike flying and falling alone.
Starting again.
So it wasn't, I usually tell people, in fact, my friend, my best man, during this same channel's interview, came and said, why would you say your wife is not the most beautiful person in the world? I'm like, yes, she's not the most beautiful person, she's just the most sensible person that I know.
Solomon Bucci, Sesan Solomon Bucci. See them?
She's just the most sensible person I know.
Yes, because the truth of the matter, she has a lot of sense, lot of sense. So what she really brings to the table is not how beautiful she looks. That's almost taken for granted. Nobody buys a wristwatch and a Rolex. I want to be punctual. No, it comes with it.
Yeah.
So it comes with the package. The beauty part is not the most important thing. The sense is the most important, and she's not just intelligent. Right? She's smart. So this was me asking myself very difficult question about, this kind of conversation. I'm like, okay, in all of this, what's the worst thing that I have? Okay, I'm going to resign my current job and go into another job and I will not do well. And they will send me back home. My wife works now and we don't have a kind of relationship where I think she's going to come back and say, oh, you are just such a lazy man who doesn't work and, stuff like that. We had very good. So I feel that I had a backup. If things failed. So it translated to a drive, like, okay, can we want more? Now I also now started finding out that it's actually good to have money.
Now that you've tasted money,
my love, it's actually good to have money. So I used to live in one bedroom apartment somewhere in Iwaya, and it was, like she said, I always told people that the thing about me is that my biggest dream was to live in a room and parlor apartment with an Okada. That was growing up. That was what the picture of growing up looked for me. That was the picture of my family in my head. So I didn't have room and parlor and Okada. I had a 1-bedroom apartment. I had a car. What else do you want from life? I've exceeded the dream. So I stayed there. So then, we got married. Then she would buy me designer stuff. This thing feels different though. I was just with my colleague in the office last week. I said, then I'll go to Balogun Market and I'll buy this, I said, people already Ferragamo. She will look at me like,
Ferragamo,
they are wear these things that I feel so. Then she will buy me this, nice stuff, and I'll wear them. Then she will tell you that, you know what? There is a difference between Abba made Ferragamo and the real thing. Those ones, they spent money on research. They understand different feet in the world. So they actually, and you will feel different about it. Then I started figuring out, what do? So if we make more money,
we can continue to enjoy things like this.
Okay, we walk home. So, over time, I've just figured out that, you don't need to be, to put yourself on the string, but there's nothing wrong with enjoying life, right? There's nothing wrong with having the good things of life and stuff like that. And, it really feels good, right? When you go out and people look at you and I was telling her that a woman walked up to me at the grocery the other day and said, you really smell nice. I said, let's buy the perfume now. How much is it? So it just keeps going back to the fact that, it's really good to have money. And like I usually, I don't have shop, I don't have anything. The only thing I have is in this my head. So I would, overwork myself. I will do everything that I needed to do just to get the kind of life, that I want for my family. Where we stay now, we can get down, our child can play and stuff like that. These were, things that were not, part of the picture.
Yeah.
Right, it was not part of the picture. Sometimes we do stuff for the child, and I'm looking at how did you just even come to spending this amount of money?
She has his mumu button, by the way. Literal.
She's the daughter.
Literal.
So it just kind of feels good that you also look at your own child, you also look at your own wife, you look at your life, and you're not doing badly, right? So I think that was one very important part for me. Like, okay, it wasn't contentment, it was fear, right? And the fear is the fear of failure. But here I am with a partner who I know if I fail will not judge me, because that's another part of it. So there was no, okay, if things go south, I will have to explain myself. Like I told you before we started this, is the fact that we kind of have three lives. I have my life, she has ours, we have a marriage, right? When it comes to matters of our marriage, then there's a consensus. When it comes to matters of our life, we are only advisors.
That's so good.
Right? So, hey, babes, don't do this. But if you do it, it didn't go the way you planned, right? And